Students, so here in this lecture we will discuss about the net profit ratio. This ratio shows the relationship between the net profit and the net revenue from the operations. Means it shows the relationship between the net profit and net revenue from operation. Net profit ratio is equals to net profit after tax divided by revenue from operation. How will calculate the net profit ratio? To calculate the net profit ratio, we need the net profit after tax divided by revenue from operation. Then how will calculate the net profit? To calculate the net profit, we need the gross profit, indirect expenses and losses, other income minus tax. So gross profit minus indirect expenses and losses plus other income minus tax. This is how we can calculate the net profit. Indirect expenses, the office expenses plus selling expenses, interest on long term borrowings plus accidental loan. Office expenses plus selling expenses plus interest on long term borrowings plus accidental loans. ये सारे के सारे हमारे क्या है, इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस हैं और इन्हीं से ही हम क्या करते हैं, इसकी कैलकुलेशन करते हैं. नाउ द ऑब्जेक्टिव एंड सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द नेट प्रॉफिट रेशियो इज दिस रेशियो मेजर्स द रेट ऑफ नेट प्रॉफिट अर्न ऑन द रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन. दिस रेशियो हेल्प टू मेजर द रेशियो ऑफ द नेट प्रॉफिट विच इज टू बी अर्न ऑन रेवेन्यू फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन मीन्स ऑन सेल. It helps to determine the overall efficiency of the business, whether the business is working properly or not. Increase in the ratio over the previous year shows the improvement in overall efficiency and the profitability of the business. If it is increasing, if the ratio is increasing, then it will show the profitability and the efficiency of the business. Now here we are going to solve the question related to the net profit ratio, and for calculating the net profit ratio, we need net profit divided by revenue from operations into 100. So here the net profit, we have to calculate the value of net profit also, and for calculating the value of the net profit we need the gross profit. So the gross profit is 75,000 and we need the indirect expenses and losses. So here the indirect expenses and losses, so we have to calculate the value of indirect expenses and losses also. And for calculating the value of the indirect expenses and losses, we want the different expenses written here in this question, that is the office expenses, selling expenses and interest on debentures and the accidental loss. So the office expenses is 15,000 plus selling expenses is 26,000 plus interest on debenture is 5,000 plus accidental loss which is 12,000. So here the indirect expenses and losses value is the 58,000. So 58,000 we are going to deduct it from the gross profit, and after that we need the other expenses, and for calculating the other income, and for calculating the other income we need the income from rent and the commission received as it is given in the question. Income from rent and commission received is 2,500 plus 2,000 which is 4,500. So we are going to add this amount in net profit. So the net profit value is 21,500. Clear? So here the net profit is 21,500 and the revenue from operation sale is 2 lakh. Clear? So the net profit ratio is equals to 21,500 divided by 2 lakh into 100. So the value is 10.75%. And here we are going to solve our next question related to the net profit ratio. Here the revenue from operation is given to us, that is 20 lakh, gross profit ratio is 30%, operating ratio is 80%, known profit expenses is 30,000, known operating income is 50,000. So here the data given to us is related to the operating ratio, and according to the operating ratio we can calculate the operating profit ratio also. So let's just start with the question here first. So the formula to calculate the net profit ratio is net profit divided by revenue from operation into 100. For calculating the net profit, will use operating profit ratio. And for calculating the value of the operating profit ratio, we have the operating ratio that is 80%. If operating ratio is 80%, then the operating profit ratio will be 20%. So here the operating ratio is 20% of the sale, means 4 lakh. So here we have to calculate the value of the net profit, and for calculating the value of the net profit we have the operating profit and non-operating expenses and non-operating income. So to calculate the net profit is equals to operating profit minus non-operating expenses plus non-operating income. So the operating profit is 4 lakh minus non-operating expenses is 30,000 and the non-operating income is 50,000. So the value is 4,20,000. Net profit value is 4,20,000. नेट प्रॉफिट रेशियो को कैलकुलेट करने के लिए नेट प्रॉफिट वैल्यू जो आई है हमारी 4,20,000 की आई है, और हमारे पास रिवेन्यू फ्रॉम ऑपरेशन जो है वो कितना है 220 lakh into 100. So the value is 21%. Clear? This is how we calculate the value of the net profit ratio. And the next topic we are going to cover is the return on investment or ROI. It is to be calculated by comparing the profit earned and the capital employed. Means if you want to calculate the ROI, you need the profit earned and the capital employed to earn it. Means the capital employed which is used to earn the profit. The ratio usually in the percentage and is also known as the rate of return, return on capital employed and yield on capital. The term here refer to the long term fund deployed in enterprises. जो यहाँ पर long term fund है वो हम क्या करते हैं enterprises के अंदर जो हमारा लगता है उसके यहाँ पर क्या करेंगे बात करेंगे. So now the return on investment जो है वो हमारा क्या है net profit before tax and dividend. Means for calculating the return on investment, we need the net profit before tax and dividend divided by capital employed into 100. Since the capital employed includes the shareholders fund and the long term loans, because in capital employed we add the shareholders fund and the long term loans also, and interest on the long term loans जो हमें इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स के ऊपर विल नॉट बी डिडक्टेड फ्रॉम द प्रॉफिट वाइल कैलकुलेटिंग दिस रेशियो. आप लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स के ऊपर जो आपको इंटरेस्ट मिल रहा है आप उसे माइनस नहीं करेंगे वाइल कैलकुलेटिंग द प्रॉफिट ऑफ दिस रेशियो. Now capital employed can be calculated by the following two methods. These two methods are, first method, the capital employed is shareholder fund plus non-current liabilities, that is long term borrowings and long term provision. Means shareholder fund के अंदर आपको क्या ऐड करना है non-current liabilities ऐड करनी है जो कि जैसे कि आपके long term borrowings हो गई और long term provisions हो गए वो उसमें आपने ऐड करने हैं. Second method is capital employed is equals to non-current assets plus working capital. और non-current assets हम किस तरह से कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं tangible assets plus intangible assets plus non-current investment plus long-term loan and advances. And here we need the working capital also, and for calculating the working capital we use the formula current assets minus current liabilities. So this is the theoretical portion of the return on investment or ROI.